Hi there, Sean Wilmot. Today we're looking at the stunningly attractive 2019 Mitsubishi Triton. Now, the Mitsubishi Triton nameplate has been around for a very long time. In fact, it's one of Mitsubishi's longest serving nameplates, and with good reason. It started out way back in the mist of time as the L200. That was the original Triton's name, way back in the 1980s. Since then, they've changed it all to reflect Triton, which is now what we know this particular beast as. Now, what Mitsubishi has done in this instance is they've brought the Triton right smack bang into the 21st century with a whole bit of new kit, new technology, and a brand new look. Now, the front end of this particular ute is what Mitsubishi refer to as their diamond shield architecture. I can't quite see the shield, but I get the point. Mitsubishi diamonds, very, very prominent up the front. Basically, we're looking at a much more squared off bonnet area here, which is better than we've seen before on many other previous Tritons, which have always suffered from a little bit of a beaky nose. Now they've flattened it out, and it's exactly what the market is demanding these days with a modern utility. Now we've got something nice and solid and sturdy, great big square frontage on the front there, which has also helped, incidentally, with frontal impact compliance, and it also improves the handling. Keeps the front end of the Triton nice and drivable, puts you in a nice straight line, gives you an incredible feeling of precision driving when you're sitting right behind that steering wheel. New lights, of course, and we can see here a couple of little new gadgets here, mirrors, cameras, etc., all done for safety purposes, of course. Makes things easy for parking, makes things easy for forward collision mitigation, which we'll come to later, and of course the daytime running lights up here integrated into the headlights in this particular model, the VRX. Now, VRX is the top end for Mitsubishi. So as you can imagine, this car has everything on it that you could possibly want. It's got some really clever stuff, which we'll get to when we step inside the vehicle. But for now, let's just take a minute to just admire the beauty of the thing. It is a stunning looking ute. So now that we're nearly at our destination, now's probably a good time as any to talk about what's actually underneath the bonnet of this thing. So down underneath here we've got a 2.4 turbo intercooled diesel engines, which has a long-standing history, but in this particular case it works really, really well with the Triton. Now, part of that is down to the fact that you've also got a brand new 6-speed automatic transmission, which really does help smooth things over, and a definite step up from the 5-speed that we once had. And that engine, incidentally, is putting out about 135 kilowatts of power at 3,500 RPM. That's pretty good, but the better part is the torque. We're looking at 437 newton meters of torque at 2,500 RPM. Now, 437 is a little bit light compared to some of the super utes, but that 2,500 RPM, that's really good. That means you're basically not working the engine too hard, but you're getting the maximum amount of torque out of it. So that's definitely a plus point. In addition to all of that, we have the Mitsubishi Super Select 2 4-wheel drive system, which comes complete with a center differential lock, which is great news for those who like to go playing around off-road. And we've also seen before the little dial-up controller that's down here just off to my left, and that gives us the off-road mode that works so very, very well. So one of the things Mitsubishi has given us in this particular vehicle is a 7-inch touchscreen, which is a family fair standard for Mitsubishi. It has a couple of little tricks to it that we haven't seen before, one of which is the reversing camera. I switch into reverse mode there, and you can see that we've actually got the reverse camera here with the guidelines, which is exactly as you'd expect. But we also have this 360-degree view, which is absolutely fantastic if you're trying to get into tight little construction type zones and parking areas that you might find other objects in. Now, for a lot of people, the front end of the vehicle is probably the most critical, but when you're talking about utes, it's the back end that's the business end. And Mitsubishi make no bones about it. This is a really good setup that they've got back here. I'm really, really pleased with it. We have the tow ball, which actually is capable of towing 3,000 kilograms, which is not bad. That's on a standard twin axled brake trailer. If you have 3 axles on your trailer and it's still braked, you can take that up to 3,500 kilos, which is a heck of a lot of boat. And then up here, we have the camera and the high beam stoplight. So back here you can see we've secured our drop saw on the 4 corner points that the Mitsubishi Ute is equipped with. And I've had this thing driving around with me all day today. It hasn't moved an inch, and I haven't noticed a single discrepancy in loss of power as a result of that drop saw. So looking at the interior of the cab, we've got a very sophisticated steering wheel here with a number of buttons on it, including your volume control for your audio and voice command activation. Over on the right hand side, you've also got cruise control and a speed limiter function. Behind that, of course, your paddle shifters for gear operation if you want to use manual mode. And down beside my right knee here, we've got various functions here: traction control, we've got lane departure warning, and we've got collision mitigation system. That complements the 2 buttons that are over here on the left hand side, which is blind spot warning and parking sensor sonar for front and rear. Here we've got the 7-inch touchscreen, which is suitable for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto phones. And down here at the very base, we've got 2 little buttons here for high and low, which is for your seat heater controls for your leather seats. Right alongside that is the HDMI port and 2 USB charge ports. So there you have it, the Mitsubishi Triton VXR. Beast of a car. Good job, Mitsubishi. Well done.